Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. You know what I'm about to say. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I hope you did because I missed you too. Y'all see the new studio lighting and stuff? Your girl, slowly but surely climbing up. First of all, let me say thank you to all my devotees. I just got information that on Spotify I have hit 1,000 streams and downloads, and I really thank you so much. We've been through the thick of it. And if this is your first time joining T Unapologetically, I welcome you into my world. And my hope is that the stories that I tell will help you tell your story. And if this is the first time, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button so you can get the latest updates. And also, you can follow me on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music at T Unapologetically. And make sure you go follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. So today's church announcement is, as you see, I am purpled down. I got the purple everything, of course, prints, purple nails, because today is a very special day. Today is Purple Day, and it is an Epilepsy Awareness Day. And I have made it no secret that I am epileptic, and I have been dealing with this for a while. So I want to dedicate this episode to my epileptic warriors and to let them know that you are special and you are a fighter, and at the end of the day that you are beautiful and you will get through this. The ones that are out there that's advocating for us, I thank you as well. I thank the Epilepsy Foundation. They have been advocating and putting out educational materials for people that are epileptic. That was actually the first foundation that I actually went to when I was diagnosed. So today's title is Living My Life with Epilepsy. I'm going to get into some facts, and then we're going to hop into a real life story. And you know what? I'm going to be very transparent. So here are some facts. According to CDC, 3 million US adults have epilepsy. That's 1% of the adult population. I'm going to read that again. That was back in 2014. No, 2024. 3 million of US adults have epilepsy, and that's 1% of the adult population. And I know that seems like, okay, 3 million, whatever. No, it is a big difference, because think about it. That means someone in your family or someone close to you are silently dealing with epilepsy. And here's all the barriers of care right now, definitely, especially in those times, is unable to afford medicine or specialty care. I'm going to take these earphones out. Unable to afford medicine and specialty care. We know with everything that's going on and cuts to look like in fact, they are slashing Medicare and healthcare like crazy, where it used to be very affordable for people like myself to get medicine, and now it's astronomical. I Right now, as it stands, I take Keppra, which is 1,500 milligrams. All my people out there that are taking meds, you already know. And my Keppra used to be about first it was $0, then it was 5, now it's almost $30, and God knows within the next days or weeks how how expensive it is. It's so crazy now in this world where people have to decide whether if I'm going to get gas, whether I'm going to get food, or whether I'm going to get medicine. And I never thought I would see the day where something like this would happen. I never thought I would see that day where we have to make choices on valuable things in life, where back then it wasn't a choice. It was like, okay, I make enough money to get food, gas, and afford health care. But now we're placed under constraints of deciding between the three because of people that's higher up, that's billionaires that don't give a damn about the little people, that do not give a damn. In the words of Michael Jackson, all I want to say is they don't really care about us. And it seems like for us that have disability, that has a disability, we're more target than anyone else because we depend solely on these medicines. And now it seems like our way of getting cures or going through life is being stripped daily. And that is messed up to the highest level. I'm going to try not to cuss in this episode. That is messed up to the highest level. That people like me that are, that's dealing with diabetes, sickle cell, autism, breast cancer, any cancer, has to decide whether am I going to have food in my house or I'm going to have to get my medicine or even to go see a doctor, because here I'm gonna hip you on some free game, show you how messed up insurances are. Your neurologist is categorized as a specialist. So it depends on what type of insurance you have. Some cover specialists right now, probably some don't. They're not considered general care doctors. Even though for me, I see my neurologist more than my gynecologist and my general care doctor. I see them more than anyone else. So to sit up there and have people strip away, people that look like me, strip away of the necessities to move through life is messed up. And this is the time for us to speak out. This is not the time to be silent. This damn sure is not the time to be silent. It's time for us to advocate and speak out. It's time for us to speak out. Anytime I'm on this mic, I'm speaking out. I'm not sitting back and allowing things to be what they're going to be. No, this is the time for us to step up, to step out and say, hell no, this is wrong. You need to hold the powers that be accountable. Although, I'm not finna get it. They they won't accept accountability if it was given free. You need to hold your senators, your mayors, your the representative. You need to hold everybody accountable to say, what are you going to do about this situation? Do you have the gonads to stand up to the POTUS or locusts to say, no, this is not right? And that's the problem. People don't have the gonads to stand up. They're very sheepish now over one person. And last time I checked, that one person is not God. That's the only person that we fear, or whomever you believe in. As I always say, whomever you believe in, have the goddamn gonads to stand up to the powers that be. Amen. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but it's just, it looks like it seems so hard that people actually really that needs medicine. I do 2,100 milligrams a day to keep my seizures under control. And now I worry and pray as well. They say, worry, don't pray, I pray. But sometimes that anxiety kicks in like, damn, is it going to come to a point where I can't afford my medicine? And if I can't afford my medicine, what can I do? And for those that are out there, I understand. I understand wholeheartedly that $0 a month is now $30 a month. 30 times 12, hey, do the math. But I did say unable, skip dosage to save money. I'm going to be honest, guys. Truly honest. Have I skipped a couple of dosage sometimes to save money and make it stretch out? Yes, I have. I have. Um, it's hard because, you know, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't. I know our providers tell us, make sure you don't skip your dosage, make sure you don't skip your dosage. But it's hard out here, y'all. It's hard. And I just pray every day, in every afternoon, and every night that things get better, especially for my people. My people. Not only the people that's dealing with epilepsy, my people, my Black kings and queens that's dealing with this as well. And I know it's hard and it seems like it's an attack, but I had to be honest. There are times I had to skip dosage. Now, did I have to pay for it at the end? Yes, I had to, but it's like a matter of life and death right now. Those are the barriers. And speaking of my African Americans, 578,000 African Americans have seizures, disorder, and epilepsy. 25,000 African Americans are diagnosed with seizures or epilepsy each year. This is where I'm going to have to go deep. And then I'll get into my story. My people, it seems like, and this is my opinion, that those numbers, yes, they are true. Allegedly, they are true. But I feel like it's so many more because we are afraid to speak out because we'll get judged or we get looked at different. And I understand that. Everything I'm telling you, I have dealt with it personally. I understand because when you're speaking out and you're saying, hey, I'm epileptic or hey, I have seizures, it's a stigma that's attached to you like, oh, is that person going to seize out in a minute? Or, ooh, why is he, the new thing, you sure you got to, why you driving? Ain't you going to seize out? Is there, it's like you're handled with kid gloves. And so some of us, we're afraid to speak out. We're afraid, some allegedly are afraid to speak out. Because when I found out I was epileptic, I didn't want to speak out at all. Because I'm like, okay, maybe people are going to treat me different. And I am urging, especially my people here in Memphis, Tennessee, it's time for you to speak up and speak out. Because that opens up a gateway for people to say, yeah, I am epileptic, but you know what? I'm a fighter and I'm going to keep fighting until there's a cure for it. So I'm urging y'all, don't be afraid to share your story. Just like how I am not afraid to share my story. Don't be afraid to share your story because it could help someone. Right now, in these terrible, terrible times. People need stories of hope. People need stories to get through the day. People need stories to fight one more fight. You have the key to help someone, to tell your story. So I'm telling my African American people, my Black kings, my Black queens, my Black prince, my Black princesses, it's okay. It's okay. I'm I'm doing it right now to say, yeah, I'm epileptic, but I am no different. And another thing I've heard before with you can look at me, you don't look sick. What do you expect for me to look like? Really, really crazy and uh Hunchback of Notre Dame or something? No. I'm showing everybody that, hey, I am just a regular person, but I'm fighting through this to help someone else. So I urge you, if you are dealing with a disability, it's time for you to speak up. And if it's hard for you to speak up or you feel like I need some help, of course, go to your find your therapist. It's a couple of therapists in check in your area or Facebook or wherever that are offering therapy free because all of us need therapy. All of us at this point. And just talk to them and see, how can I do this? How can I tell my story? How can I speak up about this? Because we won't be able to have the right representation if we don't speak up. And here is a theory. I feel like we don't speak up because it has something to deal with our minds. It used to be back in the day, they said seizures were very demonic possession. Okay. Whatever. I don't know. Allegedly. But you know how many people I talk to yearly and they tell me, yeah, my friend suffers from seizures. Wow. Okay. So that's my plea. Okay, before I get into my story, what not to do when a person has seizures? Please take a pen and paper out. Oh, please take a pen and paper out. If you see someone have a seizure, please don't put nothing in their mouth, whether it's a spoon, whether it's a leather, whatever, because the theory is that when you go into a seizure, you will bite off your tongue. I've had an epileptic seizure before. I didn't bite off my tongue. I bit down on my tongue, but I didn't bite it off. So if you see someone, do not put anything in their mouth. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you firsthand account what a seizure feels like to me. A seizure feels like you went to sleep, a good sleep. But in the midst of you having this good sleep, you wake up and found out you've been jumped by 10 people and you don't remember. That's my story. So don't put anything in their mouths. I repeat, don't put anything in their mouths when they're having a seizure. First thing you do, you lay them on their side. You lay them on their side. And if you are there, count how long they are having a seizure. If it goes over 3 to 5 minutes, then you call the paramedic. But please, God Almighty, please do not put anything in their mouth. And the reason why I say 3 to 5 minutes and then call an ambulance or whatever, because if it goes past that, then you have to call an ambulance because it ain't got bad. it is bad. So you need a professional medical care to look into that. Uh, so like I said, lay them on their side. When they come to themselves, ask simple questions like, what is your birthday? What is the day of the week? What is your name? I know it sounds a bit redundant, but once they go to the emergency room, they'll ask the same thing. What is your birthday? What is this? What is that? And also make sure you clear everything around them after you lay them on their side. Clear everything around them because you're shaking, you're going into convulsions, and you don't want glass or knives or anything else. And just clear everything around them. So let's dispel this rumor to put a spoon or something in their mouth. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. My story. It was November 2015. The first time, it's been a year since my mom passed. It's been 3 months after I had my miscarriage. Yes, I was pregnant and I had a miscarriage. And I slowly remember it was like a dream. I remember going into the closet and I was looking for CDs. And I my husband at the time, he went in the closet and he was like, "What you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for CDs and I gotta take mama to Walmart." And he saw my eyes were super glossy and my pupils was dilating. And side note, that's another thing that uh you pay attention to if the pupils have dilated. And all I remember was he took me in the bed and I went to sleep. He said I immediately fell asleep. So I was sleeping all day. And then I got up and I looked at him and I said, something don't feel right. Something don't seem right. So I went to Methodist Germantown. I said, I need to get seen about this. And I told them what happened. They did the scan of my brain. And next thing I know, I'm sitting in the hospital. The guy comes in and he says, have you ever had seizures before? I said, no, I've never had seizures before. He was like, yeah, you had a seizure. I said, what? I had a what? And imagine if I didn't go to that doctor and went, oh, everything is well, and it could have been a little bit worse. It would have gotten worse. At that moment, he told me I was diagnosed with epilepsy. My whole life stopped. I'm like, what is this? The only person in my family that I knew that had epilepsy was my great great grandmother, Dora Green, my great great grandmother. And I just sat in the car and I was just quiet. I didn't say anything. It was a trifecta. I'm like, I, I lost my mom last year, actually April 4th, 2014. So it'll be 12 years. My husband was going through PTSD. I'm trying to raise my daughter and keep everything normal. I was pregnant and had a miscarriage, and now this? Like, what the hell is going? And like, all I remember was just being silent and didn't say anything. And how can I say that to my daughter? I just turned 30, about to turn 31, to say, hey, by the way, your mom is epileptic. I'm not gonna. But it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to tell my family. It was hard to tell my friends. It's hard to tell my coworkers. Because they see me as, oh, strong Tiffany, looking, be to the gods. But it was hard. It was so hard. I can't even lie about it. It was very, very hard. And get these earbuds. So treatment started. I was I went to the neurology clinic, and they were just constantly giving me medicine. They said, "Oh, we can't find anything." And, just constantly give me medicine. I'm like, I need, in the meantime, between time, I'm still having what they call these mini seizures, which is called absent seizures, where you think a person is just daydreaming, but they're actually having what is called an absent seizure, where they're kind of like, mm, mm, mm. And anytime that you have a seizure, it's a thing called an aura. It's a something that your brain signals that, okay, we about to go into activation. My oral is when the right side of my head start hurting. Right side of my head start hurt, and I start tapping this left foot like I'm doing right now. I'm not having a seizure, but that's my aura. When I'm either doing this or I'm doing this, that something is about to happen. And if you know somebody and they they trust you enough to tell you their aura, and you see them about to do that, you like, okay, are you okay? And if they feel like they about to tilt, be able to, be there. But uh so I just got tired. I got tired of the medicine. Then they gave me a second opinion, and they couldn't find anything. And I'm like, and I'm constantly having these. I said, what the hell is going on? And I remember yelling at the person, neurologist, and telling them, hey, look, I'm about to be 31. I have a daughter. And I think at the time Mario was 14. I think she was 14. No, no, no. Well, oof, forgot. That's another side effect to being epileptic, which is sad, is my memory is gone. And I hate that. That's one thing. Lately, I just have my phone somewhere and I have to look here and there. And for those, y'all can testify, it's so hard. And I have to always say, where's my phone? Where is this? I know I put it in here. And there were times where I've actually left my keys in my car. And I've never been that type of person I can remember everything. And I do mean everything. But that took a toll on me. I'm like, now I can't remember simple stuff. I can't even remember how old my daughter was. I think my daughter at that time was 9, because she was born in 2006. 9, yeah, 9. And even still, sometimes I even forget what year she was born. And that's the simplest stuff ever. But that's one of the go-throughs of dealing with this. So my ex-brother-in-law, he was diagnosed with lymph node cancer, and he was dealing with the doctors here in Memphis, and they didn't treat him. So through his wife, they came across Vanderbilt University. They was able to treat him, and I think right now he is cancer free. Thank God. So he said, you need to go to Vanderbilt. You need to go to Vanderbilt. I go to Vanderbilt. I get I talk to my primary care, because you had to go through a primary care first. And then he referred me to Dr. Abu Khalil. And I'm telling Dr. Khalil, look, This is what's going on with me. And he was like, I'm going to try my best to see how we can get this taken care of. So first we did I had to stay in the hospital, and I always call it the Hellraiser. They put all these wires and cords, and pretty much it records your brain activity. And if something happens, it goes off. My first hospital evaluation, no lie, I got all these wires and cords, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And they had the pack that kind of like a purse, and it says high fall risk. It was like, Miss Harris, if you get out the bed, buzz us, and we'll take you to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, whatever. I've seen this before. So it was like 2, 3 in the morning. 2, 3 in the morning. I'm like, dang, I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I said, shit, let me go ahead and get up and get out this bed. That bed went off that, and then 2 nurses came in. I'm like, oh my God, the bed sounds off. And they like, what you need, Miss Harris? I said, I just need to go to the bathroom. That's all. It was like a scene from like ER. I'm like, whoa, 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 hands up. I didn't do anything. And that's when I realized I was a high fall risk. And so I was under doctor's care. And finally, it was this doctor at the end that really told me what was going on. And I said, oh my gosh. He came in, he was very funny. He was like, hey, what you doing today? He was like, oh, you're bandaged up. Just a lot of good banter. So he was like, well, we got the results. And he drew this line. And he said, this is your brain. And I was like, what? This is your brain on drugs? He like, any questions? I said, no. He said, this is your brain right here. He said, this person is a big fat lady. She's sitting on it. She's swinging on it. He said, hell, she's doing the tightrope. Then one day, this fat lady breaks the line. He said, that's a seizure. I said, okay, so break it down to me. He said, there are some seizures that are genetic. He said, but yours is a special case. I said, okay, what's my special case? He said, did you have a traumatic event that happened recently? And my jaw dropped. I said, what does that has to do with seizures? He said, something traumatic happened and your brain just wasn't able to process it. So it went into abort mission, abort mission, abort mission. And I told him, yeah, my mom died. My husband is going through PTSD. Our car got repossessed. I'm raising my daughter, and then finally had a miscarriage. So it's like a trifecta of a lot of things. So he recommended therapy, which I did go to therapy. And trust me, I was going to therapy before it became popular. I was going to therapy back in 2009. 2008, 2009. I've been on antidepressants before. I was on Cymbalta and I was on Lexapro. So I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. And I went to a therapist. But here was my downside to it. I did not know I was battling depression, and I used to drink a lot. And I know it's bad, and I know you shaking your head. Why would you drink with these pills? Because at that time, I didn't want to deal with the pain of a lot of stuff. I used to say, I want to drink until I have no feelings. And I was a Jack Daniels girl. Oh, and my Jack and Coke was just, that was me and my girlfriend. All I needed in life, it said, was me and my girlfriend. It was nothing not do me absolutely nothing for me to go through a fifth in one day or go through a tall bottle within a week. Nothing. So this is what came up. Oof. I hate to tell this story, but it's my story and I'm sticking to it. I forgot which birthday it was. I think it was my, let's see, 2006, my 32nd birthday. Yeah. Yeah, 2000, to no, 2016, 32nd, 33rd, one of them birthdays. Um, I was in a pseudo relationship with a guy from my past, and my husband did know about it. Hey, don't judge me, judge your mammy. And the night before we had my birthday party, and when I say I was drinking, I was drinking. I think I was drinking all the way up to like 2, 3 in the morning. It was no problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Oof. I was drinking like 2, 3 in the morning. And even my brother was like, "You was still drinking?" And I said, "Look, it's my party. What? I'm gonna turn up." So the following day, me and this pseudo relationship, he decided to take me out. At this point, things got a little bit like, it was just certain things that was going on that was starting to bug me. And I always had to drink before we went out. And even still, I was thinking like that back then. I like that should have been a sign of being toxic. Every time you go out with a person, you got to drink in order to deal with them. That's toxic. So before I left, I went ahead, and this was a ritual. Grab my 2 double shots of Honey Jack at the liquor store. Go to Circle K, get that crushed ice, get a Coke, mix the first double shot in, put the Coke in it, going down the street, driving, sipping. And we get to the restaurant, drinking Jack and Coke again. By the time we get to the theater, I am smashed. I'm toasted. And I remember when we went to go see the movie we went to go see was When the Bow Breaks. And show you how long it was. And we was at Malco in Olive Branch. My people from Memphis, you already know. We was in Malco movie theaters, Olive Branch. We was sitting at the top. I didn't remember anything. I remember feeling like I was about to throw up. And I was like this. And he was like, the last thing I remember was he said, "You okay?" And I said, "Mm-hmm." That's all I remember. When I came to myself, I'm sitting outside and people are just looking at me, looking at me, looking. I'm like, and you know me, I'm like, did they kill the bitch? I was like, did they kill her? So, and I see 2 paramedics, and I see him off to the side, and he was light skinned, but he he was his whole color was just drained, and I'm like, what happened? So the first thing the paramedic says, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Tiffany." And he said, "Who's the president?" I said, "Shit, Barack Obama." So the manager was standing in front of me, and I'm like, "What happened?" He said, "Well, ma'am, you had a seizure." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, you had a seizure in the middle of the movie theater, and they called the param." To this day, I don't remember what happened. Now, the person that was with me remembers what happened. I don't. It seems like I had an outer body experience. I do remember the ambulance coming into the movie theater, but I don't remember. It felt like an outer body experience. That's all I remember. And and he said that he was like, "Are you okay? Are you going to, take care of her and everything else?" And he said, "Yeah." And I remember he was like, baby, you scared me. Baby, you scared me. And I'm like, what happened? He was like, you went into a seizure. He said you started, foaming at the mouth. And he said, I didn't know what to do. And then somebody called the paramedics and they paused the movie and they got you on the gurney. I'm like, I don't remember that. And showyouhowtobomb.com, Dr. Khalil is. Dr. Khalil always told me, and this episode gonna run long, but this is some serious stuff. Dr. Khalil told me, anytime you have a seizure, let me know. I said, okay, cool. So I called Dr. Khalil. Nah, I messaged him at my Vanderbilt app. I messaged him. I said, hey, Dr. Khalil, I had a seizure, a real bad seizure. He calls me literally the following day and says, how soon can you get to Nashville? I said, well, give me about a day. And he said, okay, Nashville, I need to see you. And so I told show you how messed up it was. Told my pseudo relationship. He had to come down there with me because he was there to witness it. And that's one thing that is good to have somebody with you when it happens, because they have to communicate what happened. So, because you can't remember what happened, you only remember the last couple of minutes. And I just got this cute hair weave in. I was like, take it out. It was cute and out. And took my hair weave out. And he did what is called an EEG, wires again. And he had the video playing and stuff like that. And told me to go to sleep. And they was flashing lights and stuff. And I was, I can't do flashing lights at all. So lightning, strobe lights, and fireworks. That suck. I can't do that. And did the EEG. I went to sleep. I woke up and they was like, we'll have the results back in a couple of weeks. I said, all right, cool. And, my pseudo relationship, like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't feel well. I feel sick, because he wasn't allowed to be in there. Couple weeks, Dr. Khalil, he was in India. He looked over the results. He messaged me. He said, I need for you to get to Nashville next week. I said, okay, cool. And I know y'all thinking like, dang, you keep going to Nashville so much. Well, where I stay at, back then where I stayed at, all I had to do was just go up the street and around the corner, interstate right there, and haul that bitch until it say, Centerville. Same right now, where I stay up the street, hit that light, boom. So it was enough for me to get on the highway and go to Nashville. I go into his office. He has a chart. And he said, these are your brain waves. And I see this line. And then it's this. I said, what is that? He said, these are your brain waves. He said, that line is a seizure. And he showed me the video. And when they did the strobe lights, my eyes popped open real big. And then I closed them. I do not remember. I remember the lights, but I don't remember what happened. So then the medication and treatment and so on and so forth. But I didn't stop drinking, which I know was bad for me, but I was going through so much of being judged and so much of being, well, you can't drive. Well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And you have to a point, yeah, I was depressed. I was super depressed. I thought about taking my life because in the words of a song, I can't live my, 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 I can't live my life this way. Dilate people's, this way. I can't live my, that's what I felt like. I was like, I can't live my life this way. So I had 2 suicide attempts. I ain't gonna even lie. Uh, Drank myself, took a bottle of pills. By the grace of God, my daughter found me before I took some more pills. And one night I tried to overdose myself. I think it's called triazidone. I took 3 triazidones. Chased it with some NyQuil, praying not to wake up with this monkey on my back. And that's the most common side effects for a lot of people that are epileptic. We get into this depression because we have no control of our bodies anymore. We can't, when things happen, we're out of control. So this cycle kept going on and on and on and on until I met my babe. Still drinking heavy. Still drinking heavy. We go to Joe's Crab Shack. Once again, I felt like I was about to throw up. My babe so happened to be there. Next thing you know, he said I fell and I just started seizing. And show you how God works in mysterious ways. Just so happened, it was a nurse that was sitting right behind us that administered first aid to me, according to my babe. I don't remember her, but she kept talking to me and saying, "Okay, Tiffany, it's okay. It's angels like those that I'm so blessed to have." It could have been no one there that knew anything medical. And my babe tried to find her, and she was in Nashville. Never heard from her again, which I think was an angel. I do believe of angels walking amongst us. I do believe that. But she was just talking to me, and I was out of it. And now my love, he took it upon himself to learn things about epilepsy, medicines, triggers, what to do and what not to do. And this is why I love this man so much. And I'm going to tell y'all out there, if you got somebody that is willing, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, partner, mother, father, sister, cousin, whomever, that's willing to research and do the work and say, okay, to really understand your disability and try to help you, that's a godsend. And you should thank them every day. Not spectators, but someone that is willing to know what you're dealing with and try to help you. So you ask, Tiffany, where are you at right now? I'm taking it day by day. I don't try to look at the news that much because the news and stuff give me so much anxiety, and that's not good for my condition. Uh, Here are some fun facts. A lot of people think the color purple is my favorite color. I love the color purple, but my favorite color is actually yellow. The reason why I wear purple a lot or show purple a lot, to show, to be a walking billboard of, look at me. If I can make it, you can make it too. If I can make it, you can make it too. I am a walking billboard every day. You see this right here? This bracelet right here that says Epilepsy Hero? I wear this with pride every day. Every day. I wear this for pride. And I say, yep, I'm, Yeah, I'm an epilepsy hero. I wear this with pride every day because I want to show the people that's in my condition, it's okay. You can live life normal. Yeah, you're gonna have some ups, you're gonna have some downs, you're gonna have some days you don't want to get out of bed. But at the end of the day, when you open your eyes, you're a fighter, you're a warrior. At the end of the day, you are a warrior. You can push through this. And another fun fact, me cutting my hair, that wasn't inspired as well. If you look at my previous pictures, I had wigs, weaves, braids, you name it. But I keep a solidarity to keep my hair cut because, like I said, I want to show people that is dealing with what I'm dealing with. You can still be beautiful in this world. You can still function in this world. And nobody has to know. Trust me, I get it all the time. You epileptic? Oh my God, girl, you don't look sick. Don't worry about those comments, baby. You are a warrior. You are a hero. You are a beacon of light, and you are stronger than anyone else. And I call this the monkey on my back. I said, I've been dealing with this monkey on my back for years. Now, it's not a monkey on my back, it's an opponent. I'm Rocky, and this is, what's that dude name? I must break you. And Rocky end up whooping his ass. It's no longer a monkey. It's a fucking opponent. It's pretty much like, I got you. I'm gonna beat this. Watch me. Don't believe me, just watch. You gotta go in with that attitude, my epilepsy heroes. You gotta go in with that attitude. I'm gonna beat this. Don't believe me, just watch. Just watch. So let's see. Angela says it's 4:23. I know we went a little bit over, but I would like to say happy Purple Day to all my epilepsy heroes and warriors. I stand in solidarity with you, and I pray that your group, that your family stand in solidarity with you because we all need a community. We do. So I thank y'all for listening. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I'll be coming out with some new episodes. We're going to tackle into this anxiety because everybody's going through anxiety. And like I said, happy Purple Day. And also, if you want to know more information about epilepsy treatments and facts, please go to the Epilepsy Foundation page. I'm going to put their link in the description box. And they have different programs and information, very useful information. And make sure you do donate to the Epilepsy Foundation because they are literally doing the Lord's work. And also, get involved in your local chapter if you have a chapter. And I think they have that information on there. If you have a local chapter that is a part of the Epilepsy Foundation, you know, be a part of that. And, just find that out and get in contact and go from there. And as I always say, y'all, you, my love, have the right to tell your story. You, my epilepsy warriors, my epilepsy heroes, you have the right to tell your story. Don't give anyone the right to tell it for you. Peace and blessings.